guys, thank you for being here. That's early morning. For me to understand with whom I'm speaking and on what level to give my topic, because like I can vary that, I will do a little bit of the morning exercise. I'm asking people who ever wrote blockchain code, raise a hand. Okay. So my next question was to ask people who ever deployed blockchain code to stand up. But well, we don't have the raised hands. So I'm actually curious why you're here, because I have to be really sorry, because I'm going to talk about the specific topics and about how to apply like AI to deliver blockchain projects. And when deliver blockchain projects, I mean, from one side, I have an excuse, because when we are speaking about the blockchain projects, the blockchain specific there is like, what, 20% in the code and probably 50% in deployments. So another 80% of the code would be your topic. So, but I was hoping to give more insights and to stay more specifically like on blockchain, but nicely, I do have first slides explaining you the specific of blockchain delivery, which might be useful for you. But first of all, why you have to listen to me and why I'm actually like speaking about this topic. Like since 2014, I'm doing blockchain, and I'm doing blockchain in terms of the designing solutions. I'm a solution architect, and I'm normally the trusted advisor. So I'm telling businesses how they should apply blockchain technology. And I'm also leading delivery of blockchain projects. And since that time, we delivered quite some of the solutions to the production. And one of our solutions is more than 5 years live. And for example, processing more than 11,000 online POS devices, doing operations online simultaneously. So our solutions not only do what they meant to do, they also perform, and they also survive the time. And well, basically, I'm also very passionate about the blockchain technology, and I honestly believe that that's the new technology stack which will substitute the existing technology stack. It's more efficient, it gives you more possibilities, and it gives them more possibilities to the business. So we already can see the significant change on the technology stack. And therefore, for the already 3 years, I'm running the blockchain professionals community, where all of you invited, and that's for people who want to do blockchain or who are doing blockchain or who wants to do it. And every week we do have the great content. And also recently we created for people who are not that keen about a blockchain, but very interested in innovation technologies, we created Thunderbolt Innovation Community. And that's for people who likes to do innovation. So, and then to the content. That's to give you the picture where blockchain technologies are thinking with like other technologies and like more used for you, like cloud deployment, RPA, connected applications, all the virtual agents. The dark one is blockchain. And the blockchain is normally the core of the solution, which means that it gives you infrastructure layer, and the infrastructure layer is normally like it resides on infrastructure layer. Then you have core blockchain level, which is normally the engine which helps you to store the data decentrally, to helps you to process transactions decentrally. So that's the main core blockchain level. And then on top of that is a middleware, and the middleware is all the connections. And to connect to the smart contract or something, you need the wrappers, and you need oracles to bring data to the transaction layer. And on top of that, you do have the application layer, and that's the typical front end. And here there's also some specific, because you're connecting wallets, you have to store the keys, and your keys are storing on the middle level. But basically, that's the typical multi-layer architecture, where core blockchain stays on top of the infrastructure and does all your transaction processing, all your persistence, manages all your middleware. So basically, that's like when you're thinking, like when you're from more traditional architectures, you normally think about the service bus, you give something to the service bus, and there is like a database or ERP underneath. So think about combination of the service bus, database, ERP, and all the necessary services to keep that working as like blockchain solution. Because I'm not going to just discuss how blockchain works, because that's not a specific talk. But we are moving, and now like blockchain projects, and that's very interesting. You've probably heard about the smart contracts, and a smart contract is a thing which is normally exposed to the general public. It's something where you code your business logic, and it has a tendency to stay for a quite long time. It's not like, everybody is writing upgradable smart contract, but from the business point of view, contract is contract. Something what you've agreed about. And when you agreed about something, you have a tendency to keep this agreement. And the users are relying on this agreement. You probably heard many times that blockchain promote trust. Trust is in a code. So the contract should be not really like flexible, changing and something. And also, contracts are public. In public solutions, like, we can speak about, and I will speak about the enterprise blockchain delivery and public solutions delivery. And there's a huge difference because, all the public solutions with the exposed code is available, and code is not only available, code is being read. And that's important. You expose the business logic, you expose the code, because that's what the users subscribe for. You're agreeing about something with them. On enterprise level, it's more complex because normally you have the different business users, but also the contract has the business logic, which doesn't mean to change every day. And the contract is agreement between the parties who participate in blockchain ecosystem, in business ecosystem. So, there's a fact that most of the developers are trying to build contracts upgradable because of the mistakes, because of the future, because of the flexibility. But still, contracts, which is a core blockchain part, are not that very flexible. And try to think, try to realize the demand for the code who means to be less changeable, less flexible, and exposed to generic public. What requirements for this code would you have? Normally, high quality and high security. Because, you probably know that the majority of the public blockchain solutions, they're all about money. They're all about transferring money or growing money or exchanging money, which means that that's quite a sensitive topic. If you have issues in a contract exposed to the public, means that the contract can be exploited. Especially because the public contracts are run in a public network where everyone can deploy another contract and all the addresses are public. So there is a possibility to interact with your code. There is a theoretical possibility. And if the contracts are written badly, you will get an issue. In enterprise environment, again, most likely the codes are not that well exposed, but the most meaning of blockchain solutions for enterprise environment is when the parts of the ecosystem are not so friendly, because when they are really friendly, they probably can trust the centralized party and build a centralized solution. So when they not really trust, when sometimes they're competitors, and often they're competitors, there's also the question about if they're part of the ecosystem, most likely they have access to the code. Most likely they know the code of the smart contract, and they may play games, they may play political games, they may be willing to exploit the contract code. And we still have a solution where ecosystem should work. Also, again, in enterprise ecosystem, we have the high demand for high quality and high secure code. And that's important to keep in mind in all things which I'm going to say right now. And basically, as any solution, you would love, because any IT solution, what do you need to build an IT solution? You need to design that, you need to build that, and then you need to test that. So on a high level, everything is the same, for how you deliver that. When we look inside, that's a little bit different, because for the blockchain solution, the designing part is actually huge. Because remember, we're thinking about contracting party, which means that the business, and remember, we are contracting parties for quite significant period of time, which means that the business logic has to be designed, and has to be designed well, because you're signing the contract. And you probably, I don't know how much you are involved in the contract negotiations in your companies, but you can imagine how long does it take to get the perfect contract, and the lawyers are involved in something. And then think that we are doing similar, not the same, but a similar activities to put it in a code. And it's not that you can change that every day. So the design part appeared to be quite significant, especially because right now, blockchain is still a little bit a newish topic for the business, and they're not sure how to think in those terms, which lead us, and I will move to the next slide to show you. No, I will just show this. That normally leads us to the situation where we have technical stack and technical build and the business build at the same time, where we have Scrum teams where the business is involved, because the logic of the contract and also the integrations needs to be planned well. And the design, the business design, well, in the public solutions, we have term crypto economy. The crypto economy design, it's normally happening in parallel with the technology build, because there are always parts of the backend, there's a front end, you can start with the infrastructure, and the guys are finding out the business logic at the same time, because we want the efficient delivery. So normally we have the two parallel tracks, where there are the functional stream, where the people work, where we have governance stream, and in parallel, we have people who are working on the technology. And governance is also an important topic, because when we have decentralized solutions, and blockchain is always decentralized solutions, you have to manage the solution somehow. And in most cases, blockchain solution is a solution where there are several business owners, or there is a general public who is a business owner of the solution, which means that somebody has to design where to get the new versions, fix bugs or not to fix bugs, how to proceed in the future. In many cases, you have customization parameters, or you have the fine-tuning parameters for the solution, which needs to be updated or may need to be updated. Or, for example, there could be parties who want that to stay fixed, and there is always economical interest in that. So there should be kind of governance board or governance mechanisms. And I must say that the current state of the market is where for the public solutions, we normally build on-chain governance. So there is a business logic of how to maintain. There are normally the specific tokens, the voting mechanisms, and the public solutions are maintaining themselves on-chain. And there is a governance for that, there is a logic for that. And enterprise solutions for nowadays have a tendency to manage all this stuff off-chain. Because the enterprise solutions is where several legal entities got together in an ecosystem and agreed to build solution together. And somewhere in a paper contract, they agreed about how much time and money they will devote to the build, how they're going to operate that, who will be operating that, how will be upgrades. And that's there's a tendency, because people are mostly scared. And the people mostly don't have experience. So they have a tendency to say, okay, that's we manage in a paper contract how we used to. There are ways, and there is a possibility, and there are already solutions in the production where the parts of the governments are on-chain, and that's definitely the tendency. That's definitely in 10 years, the majority of that, when the people will get more experience, be less scared, they understood that blockchain is actually meant to automate the managerial decisions. And that's exactly what it is. And that can be perfectly automated. It just takes time. But still, again, think all the governance mechanisms also needs to be designed. And that's a lot of I'm sure you participate in a design exercises. It's a lot of talks, a lot of production, a lot of papers or Confluence pages. Yeah, I'm giving you just specific how blockchain is being delivered, and that's why because I'm adopting for the audience. I'm not showing you how to generate the code, but once the generic understanding what we do when we deliver blockchain solution. So a lot of, I would say, business design, a lot of BA work, which later needs to be translated in a backlog and then needs to be coded. I'm going back to show you how basically the normal blockchain journey goes. But that's, I would say that it's a combined one for the public and enterprise to give you generic understanding. If I would be asked to draw the specific one, that would be slightly different because for public, it would be slightly one side, for enterprise would be slightly another side. But with you, with the zero experience of blockchain delivery, it will work. Because first of all, we need to understand what we are doing. Then, and based on that, we need to create a business case. If there is no business case, there's no work. It's useless. Then after that, we are designing who are the users, who are the participants of the solutions. Do they have motivation? Do they, are they willing? Because again, they try to build an ecosystem between parties who doesn't see the business case and don't see the motivation is a useless try. You can say a lot, but they wouldn't work with you and they wouldn't be motivated to build a solution together. But normally there is a business case. Normally, if the use case is good and validated, there is a possibility to combine the parties, even if they're competitors. And normally, after 1 and 2, you do have kind of white paper. We use the term, the term white paper, mostly for the public solutions. For the enterprise solutions, there would be, business case, specification, project request. It's normally where business can look and understand kind of enterprise summary, what are we going to do? Then, normally, in current situation of the market, the current state of the technology, we need to do the MVP. We need to show that what we plan to do is actually doable. And here, the majority of the exercises, first of all, I never seen MVP or POC in a blockchain space, which was unsuccessful. They all are successful because the majority of those is the question, can we do this or can we do that? Today, you can do everything with blockchain. Every technical task you want to do, you can find specific solutions, specific libraries, and that would be successful. You can prove the technology works. There were people coming to me saying, we need a pension contract, and that's that huge, and that's impossible to code this logic on blockchain. That's possible. We proved that. But 80% of the POCs stayed on the shell. They are successful. They are written as successful. They are presented as successful, but they do not proceed to the production implementation. You're probably asking why. Why? When we're speaking about the public solutions, that means because we didn't get an investment. When we're speaking about enterprise solutions, that also means because we didn't get an investment, but in a different form. We were not able to sell that to our business. And here there are some extra reasons. One is we were too scared because there is in our industry, there's no legislation. And that's too difficult to deal with our legals to bring it live. Another one is too difficult, the business change is so huge and the business case is a little bit smaller that we assess the size of the process change we need to do and understood that it will take us 2 years. And we probably starting the process change now, but the solution can be built for the half a year. So let's put this on shelf and see how business will digest the business change. In the majority of the blockchain solutions, the build is small. And that's the beauty. It's easy to build, but the associated paradigm shift and associated business change is huge. And we're speaking about the delivery still, yeah? Think. It means that it's a huge load to operation. It's a huge load to the business to transform the processes. That's the change management. And again, production, a lot of papers, a lot of documents in so-called natural languages, not a code, but the text. Some of the POCs are surviving, especially when the business case is attractive to the market or to the industry, or there are a lot of money in public solutions. There are a lot of blockchain solutions currently working now, so there are enough of the business and use cases. And normally, when it's passing this MVP stage, that's actually like passing that's here, like stage 4, it's where you're trying to sell it. And normally you're getting from your board, and that's like, it's either your VCs who are donating to your startup, either that's your enterprise board who is investing, like we're like signing you the projects in a company. And basically they're saying, okay, the POC was good, something is good, yeah, then how much will it cost me to build a production solution? And then there is another exercise where you're doing the pilot design, and here you have to have the ecosystem roadmap. You have to explain how you're going to onboard the users or onboard the participants. A lot of blockchain solutions are ecosystem growing. We need new members in our chain. How are you going to do that? And while explaining that, again, it's another step where creating a lot of papers. Like, I mean, I'm talking to the developers sitting, the board, like when will I write a code? Like, why we are producing papers. Wait. That's basically where you do the estimation, where you're doing the estimations, but still go-to-market strategy, another paper, because it's not like blockchain solutions, they heavily depend on adoption. You have to have the users, you have to have the support of the ecosystem, and it doesn't, for public solutions, 80% of the success of the public, even the financial solutions, is marketing. Because you need to let people know it exists. And you need to explain people how to use that. And you need to explain people where they benefit. In enterprise level, that's the same, but you need to explain not to the people, but to the industry. And the step 6, that's for developers. That's where the whole development happens. That's where you build and test on initial level, but we still have 7. And 7 is throughout testing. We do the necessary testing when we build, but we are stating that, and that's written with blood. The blockchain solutions have to be tested. And try to imagine, you probably all had experience of testing complex multi-thread solutions. And you know how that's comparing to the single thread. Then think that you multiply the complexity by 10. Because in blockchain solutions, you normally have the heterogeneous infrastructure. You have parts of the code which are written by different parties, which are owned by different parties, deployed by different parties, where you have oracles, and has to be very secure, and the secure testing is must. And for all your smart contracts, the external audit is must. And so many things needs to be arranged for the testing. I mean, normally you're saying in standard centralized solutions, you are normally saying that the testing is not less than 50% of the effort. And normally you're saying majority of the companies saying 20 to 50. When you need the solutions which require the quality, you're saying 50 to 70. In blockchain, we're saying 80 to 100. You cut on development because you share the development. You share the development, and there are a lot of parties, you can cut the cost of the development. Well, smart contracts are 2 pages. There's no big smart contracts. Big smart contract, bad smart contract. There's a standard backend, standard frontend, more or less. But because of the complexities of ever-changing state and the complexities to go back, because of the parallel execution, because of the parts of the network which can be disconnected and then connected again. You have the situations which is, well, first of all, no manual testing. I mean, written with blood. We are saying 80 to 100% automation test coverage, including functional, including interface, everything automated, continuous testing. If you want to bring a high quality, and you need a high quality, in the beginning I explained to you, because this all is exposed. If there are money in a solution, it's going to be attacked. It's going to be hacked. If you have issues, they would be found. And they would be like your code, most likely, would be looked by the people who are much more experienced than your developers, than you. And they would be analyzed many times. And there would be bots who are trying to hack that. And there would be special code which is written to attack. So you have to prepare and devote time for that, plan time for that. And that's another step. I was like short summary, so I didn't lost you. So far I explained to you that huge effort needs to be spent for the designs and to bring in life. Because like a lot of documents, a lot of understanding needs to be built, and a lot of understanding needs to be delivered to the market. And the kind of huge effort needs to be devoted into the testing. And then go live, and then monitoring. And here we also will see, because like I'm going to switch to AI soon. I hope that I may be able to do it, but I need to build the understanding in you. So, and then standard lessons learned, and then go back to redevelopment. That happens always. So, hope we know this. We've been looking to. If you need a picture, I think you will get all the slides. So that's the business efforts. That's all the paper creation and understanding built and all the agreements and everything. And that's slightly more detailed previous step where we're showing where the technical people are more involved and where the business people are more involved. But quite some of the creation of the deliverables which are natural language based. And I'm trying to build the path to the AI usage. Yeah, you see, I can started to use the terms. And basically, now I'm starting to explain how we are, and we are doing that currently. And I will show you at the end, I hope we'll have time. Yeah, we should. What are the results of applying AI for the blockchain solution delivery? I must say that I already started with that it's not that much of the blockchain specific. Blockchain specific, I explained to you. And that's provoked for the AI help because of all the industry specific, because of all these texts, and because of all those process manuals have to be created. But speaking about the development, I'm talking to development, speaking about the code creation, you still have the same front end. And it can be mobile front end when we have wallets, and it can be custody wallets, like it can be wallet connect to the non-custody wallets. You still have like the front end part and the connection to front end, like the backend for the front end. And you still have normal backend, because not everything you can do on chain. And that's not like you don't want. Your business logic requires some off-chain operations, which are normal, traditional. I have a tendency to say that the Java backend, it's because majority of the developers nowadays prefer to write backend in Java. Well, it can be Kotlin, it can be whatever, like what you write the backend, that would be backend code, and it would be integrations. Because one blockchain, every transaction processing needs to receive transactions. Somebody has to send those transactions. Normally we call this oracles, and either they are coming through the user interface through the front end, either they are coming through the integrations, and they are coming through oracles. Oracles are also written either on C, where there are also bridges where the transactions are coming from other networks. Those are normally written in Rust, because they require like a lot of efficiency and a lot of security and something. But basically, that's the traditional combination of the backend languages and the traditionally structured, traditionally created backend code. And the front-end code. But here, that's basically the blockchain specific, where we have negotiation of the contract. And that's exactly what I've been showing you so far on the previous pages. That's the specification of the contract. Again, that's already translated business requirements into contract spec, into the technical requirements. And that's actually the contract code. The contract code is what, in a majority of the cases, are written either in Solidity, where we're deploying that in Ethereum ecosystem, either in Rust, where we're deploying that on other blockchain networks like Near, we have quite some of the blockchain networks which are using Rust as a contract languages. In some cases, I've seen there are the adapters and the translators for C, and there are special languages. There are blockchains who are inventing special languages thinking that they would be more efficient. Here we can laugh, but they still try. And there are languages where the smart contracts are written in Go. And there are networks where the smart contracts are written in Python. That's basically the combination. And as I already said many times, the smart contract is a very specific code. It's short. It has to be clear. It's going to be attacked anyway. And it's going to be most likely exposed. Which means that we require the highest possible quality of the code. Also, the highest possible clarity of the code, because we want people to read. No, we don't want to hide. We are creating public solutions. And the wise users of the public solutions, they go into the contract and they look at the contract. And they must understand that, because otherwise they wouldn't subscribe for your solution. They wouldn't invest money in your network. So it has to be clear, wise, very efficient, because in a majority of blockchain network, you pay money for the contract execution. And what you pay depends on computation complexity and a storage complexity. You have to be very efficient. That's like programming for the devices. Because every execution or every contract update costs you money. Then speaking about the contract updates, changes, we are making contracts upgradable. And that's also, when you look into the blockchain solutions, when I look into its quality, you trying to assess, is it a good solution or not? I mean, if the solution has non-upgradable contracts of the distant quality, that's definitely better when the contracts are upgradable. Think about trust, yeah? When it's upgradable, you need to look to the upgrade mechanisms because, okay, you invest money in something which you read and trust, and then they upgraded that for something unknown. That's complex, and you have to pursue it yourself. So that, the upgradability of the contract, it's probably a good thing for developers. We will have chance to fix the bugs, and a bad thing for the users. And when it's a bad thing to the users, it's a bad thing for the business. And then we need to test. And after testing, we are releasing contracts. We are deploying that. And there's a deployment. And the very, very, very good practice when the contracts are being deployed to monitor them, to see what happens with them in a public network. Because when the contract is upgradable and you are not so wise and made hell of the mistakes or one stupid mistake, somebody can be able to upgrade your contract. That could happen. And it can upgrade for something interesting it's also where you need some architecture-wise decisions and where you need to prepare. Very quickly, because you are developers, that's where AI can help us on a business term. And that's very logical. I mean, I spoke a lot about the contract negotiations, formulating white paper, formulating all the adoption strategies, roadmap. Nowadays, you can talk to AI asking you to do so. You always will need to read what that produces. But we see the huge cuts in timelines and also huge raise in quality because sometimes you work with the people who use a different language and you need to translate. Sometimes you work in an industry which is less known to you. And I basically said all our business analysts talk to AI to get the industry background, to get the very detailed industry background. Talk to AI to transform that to the industry language. And try to imagine if your people will read books and will obtain this. Well, I mean, to teach the technology costs normally 2 years. To teach the industry costs the university education at least 6 years. So when AI, like when you are using AI, that to for BA to obtain the new industry knowledge, it costs 2 days. And that's the huge cost. And the same with the production, all the high quality marketing materials. I mean, nobody writes now marketing materials by hand. This is all written by OpenAI, and you can get from that the pretty distant quality. And also you can use the quality of your people to polish what AI produces for you. Though I hope that is clear, because I want to show you still the build phase. And basically, we are speaking about the code acceleration. And while you are reading all of this, because I don't have time to read all of that for you, I'm going to say that, yes, I actually want to show you where we tried to use AI and what were the factual results of the project, because we did a pilot project. We did like several projects for 6 weeks, doing the teams who are doing that with AI and without AI, and we're comparing numbers. So I hope to be able to show you the metrics. But I mean, I hope you're not all sleeping, so I will ask you questions. Does anyone have experience of using AI to helping you code? Raise a hand. Then, well, please keep the hand. And then please lower that when you were unhappy with the quality. We still have hands. So we still have people who are happy. And probably like half of them unhappy, half of them happy, which actually gives you the temperature. That gives you understanding, yes, it's kind of 50% helpish. Also, I must say that it's helping when you have junior developers, because they don't know how to start. And your senior developers have to babysit them and to explain where, what, how. And then you're saying, come on, use AI. And it will tell you where is everything and what to do step by step. And use like this one, you use like for Copilot. It will guide you how to deploy. It will tell you everything. And you save the time of your senior developers, because the juniors like will get. Then you can show the code to the developers who are onboarding and say, use AI, it will explain you what it does. So all the helpful like tests. And also it's helping senior developers not to type everything. Because like when you start, it's continuous. And if you're a senior, you're saying, come on, you're mistaken here, but that's goodish. And you can get, like, it's definitely more efficient than without AI. Everything which helps, we use. So I'm moving. This one is a good one, because majority of the developers hate to test. Majority of the developers hate to spend time on a unit testing, and they better, and that's not because they don't want to test. It's not because they don't understand. That's because they believe it's time consuming. We don't want to type all of this shit. And I know that the majority of the IDEs are helping you in that. We're pre-creating everything for you. AI does that's better, because it writes more. And you still need to read that. It still can forget about the negative cases. It still can forget about a lot of things. It can be mistaken. In some cases, that forgets about the parameters. But it's still developers likes that. And here, that's an important thing. It's not like you will see some decrease in time spent, but you will see the rise in the mood of the developers. And the happy developers means the better code. Code refactoring. That's the interesting thing. Because here, the more experienced your developers are, the more they will get from AI. AI actually can help quite some. But you have to give that very detailed instructions what to do. So if you do have good refactoring practices, and if your people used to do that, and if the people understand what they're doing, they would be able to derive quite some help from AI. If they're juniors, it again will still help, because if they're juniors means the code is bad. When the code is bad, then AI is helpful to make it significantly better. So also, we do recommend the code generation, front end, yes. Just generate all the front end, then we will test and fix everything which is shit. Backend, Java, yes. Python, try. Depends on what complexity you need. And then I have to say, like, well, we're speaking about blockchain solution delivery. Smart contracts, try to guess. Like, not reading, try to guess. I've been telling you how important to have the good code of the smart contract. I would say if you have people who never, like you, deployed contracts in a public network, then yes, use AI. It will give you all the standard best practices. It will explain you why it's like this. If you're like 0, I will help. If you're junior, if it will help. If you have experience of 1, 2, 3 projects being deployed, it would never come up to your mind to use AI for 2 pages code. So it depends on the workforce you have. It depends on the task you do. Because if you write an NFT contract, non-upgradable, just to put it somewhere, AI will just give you the perfect solution and will deploy it for you. So if you need Rust code, and I will say most likely not. You can try. You can still save a little bit of typing, but you cannot save on thinking. And again, try to persuade your Rust developers that AI will write the code for them, and try to persuade them after first 2, 3 tries that they will keep using them. But this all only because today the amount of available code is limited. Well, there's a huge code base for Solidity. It's not that big code base for us. And this all is going like, probably when I'm speaking now, and the latest version of OpenAI, it's got all the recent, probably they dig somewhere the good code base. Probably in 2 years, it will exist. Probably you can, well, I wouldn't recommend to create your own models because it's long, expensive, and again, if you are not Microsoft, you don't have this code base to do that. But still, there are possibilities to fine-tune the models for your own fashion. If you're a really big company, it might be in your roadmap. It might be that you are devoted to develop like solutions in Rust or in Solidity and somewhere, and you think that you have the specific style of building, for example, smart contracts, and you want to have your own model, and you probably want to trade it later. Then SQL development. Because anyway, at your backend, you might need database connections. That's definitely yes. I would definitely recommend that. And very, very quickly, learning and explorations. Yes, you need that. Yes, for junior developers, for unknown code, AI is very, very helpful instrument. It basically cuts your times in half. Cross-platform development. For blockchain, that might be you want to port it for another blockchain. I must say that for traditional development, that's easy and it's working. And yes, you still need to polish that, you still need to do quite some. But in terms of the time savings, there are a lot of time savings there. When we are speaking about the blockchain, normally the transition to another blockchain means account-based to UTXO, which is different logic, huge changes. Normally the languages from Python to Rust, from Solidity to Rust, it's more easy, but still, it's complex. It's complex and requires very senior developers, and probably like here with the backend and front end, very smooth and very nice. With the blockchain code, troublesome and questionable. Integrations with the third parties, the same as backend. Code migrations. Told about this. Documentation generation. Yes, please generate all the documentations for us. Please decorate that. Does perfectly. I mean, everybody loves that now. A little bit, we are going, like, I'm trying to finish soon. How we did that. We are quite a big company, and we wanted our development workforce to use AI efficiently and to use that in every project, or at least we were testing how it would be, how we can cut our costs for our clients, because what we do, like we do a lot of custom development. And to do that, like we build the special solutions, which are also like, it's important for us who has the IP. We don't want to give the IP of our clients to expose that to AI. And therefore, we also would like to anonymize a lot of things. So we have like the special infrastructures, how to let our developers to talk to AI. And then the practical exercise, very quickly. Yes, you can use AI for the test phase. Generate your test automation, maintain your test automation pool to do a lot of testing, to do a lot of, like, it can help in maintenance. It can help in the maintenance of the test scripts because it can tell you where the changes are. And that's helpful. And our testing practice is doing now a lot with AI because everybody wants to save. The same for operations. All the operation manuals, yes, can be created. Then all the marketing materials for blockchain solutions, the specific is you're using a lot community. And all the talking to community, all the blah, blah, blah in natural languages is done very good by AI. Technical tasks, prediction, error notification, error fixing, that also works, especially in the front end. In the front end part, works like magic. Results. That's basically what I wanted to tell, the practical one. And I will quickly explain that we had like the 6 weeks developments, and then we had to train people, and that's basically what we did. We were setting up the metrics. All the projects are done like managed through Jira. We get the Jira metrics. We compared now what happens while we are using AI, where we are not using AI. I must say that the people who were doing that were generic developers. They didn't have much of previous experience. We had to train them a little bit of how, but they were not doing that for years. Definitely not. They were just seeing that probably second time in their life. And that's basically, we assessed backend on chain code, front end, and the testing. So all this marketing and all this blah, 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 it was obvious that we cut 80% of the effort there. So we were more concerned about like the metrics for the developers. And that's basically what was the core I want to show you. Code reviews, like what? We do see increases everywhere, not tremendous ones. And we see like in non-blockchain projects, we see better numbers. So for you, that could be like, those would be lower if you don't do on-chain code, if you don't do the complex infrastructure deployments. But still, translating that to the months and money for your clients, we do see that, and we do see the ways to improve that, because we see how it's improved towards the end of the projects where the people appear to be more experienced. And basically, numbers, you can recognize the pictures there from Jira. I mean, we didn't make it up. That's the real facts of the real projects where... I must say that, first of all, if somebody will say, like, does it harm to use AI? Proven, no. Does it help? Proven, yes. Does it help much? I would say it needs an improvement. But we do see all the ways to improve that, which means that it's actually the way to go. And that's what was decided in our company. So yes, we're using that in almost every project because we definitely see the benefit. We definitely see the possibilities to cut the cost, and probably that would be the differentiator in the market. and a little bit more numbers if somebody is interested. You see some like we were like I would say that was the road, like this was a learning path for us too. And we probably are going to repeat the exercise. And also that was done with the previous version of the OpenAI. Well, the recent one was a recent one. And we already see, because like we can apply, we already see the huge change. We already see that it's the last 2 years of the internet experience for blockchain. That's marvelous, because like I try to imagine what code base we had 2 years ago. So yeah, in general, that's what I say to you. It's the way forward. We still need to think a little bit of how to do that most efficient, speaking about a big company and big delivery. I'm on a daily basis thinking and trying. And that's also says about the prompt generation. And it also says about the prompt sharing in between delivery teams. Because if you, for example, find a good prompts for the refactoring, you have to keep that. And you have to let others say, guys, that works perfectly now. And again, all AI technologies, all available for us, the AI technologies, they're improving on a daily basis. We are trying new tools. And there are tools which help tremendously, again, with the prompt generation, with the efficiency, with all of this. So that's for all of our, like for all of us, for the developers, for the solution architects, that's another very useful tool which helps. We need to learn how to apply that on the best way. We need to apply our brains how to get the most of that, and that will give you a market advantage. That's it.